welcome to another broadcast. We're going to be starting here momentarily. I'm just getting my bearings here together. And I hope you guys had a great week so far. And today we're going to be talking about the whole immigration thing, and not every aspect of it, but we're going to chop it up and talk about it a little bit. And are you on Team Mexico or Team Black? You're going to find out. Ultimately, ain't no teams at all here. All right, we're going to give people about a minute, and then we're going to start, okay? About a minute. All right, big shout out, of course, to everybody in the chat. Glad to see you guys coming in and doing your thing, and appreciate it. All right, about 15 seconds, and we're going to start. About 15 seconds. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Well, welcome again to another live broadcast. I haven't been live in a moment. I've just been doing other things, and so glad that you guys are here and to join us and all that. Really appreciate it so much. As I said, when I was playing the music a little bit earlier, about a minute ago, we're gonna get in a little bit to this whole situation regarding the protest, and what does it actually mean? I mean, is it just that, or is there more to the story? And I'm here to tell you that, there's definitely a lot more to it that I think a lot of people are not. It's going to go right over your heads if you're not paying close attention. So that's what we're going to do. And so, we're just going to talk about that. I had a whole list of other things I wanted to touch on, but, I'm just trying to narrow things down to make it easier for people to, these scroll folks that scroll in, scroll out, or they leave a comment based on the thumbnail and that's it. And, so I'm trying to catch them too. So anyway, before we get started, of course, make sure, as always, you go ahead and stop by our store, which is sombertree.com. Again, it's sombertree.com. We're going to be launching some exciting things there really soon. I've been talking about it. All of this stuff that's going on right now regarding these protests and what they're trying to ramp up right now in the minds of people. It's going to be very crucial and important for you to prioritize your mental health. And that is what we've been talking about on this platform for a minute here. And but we're taking a step forward, and we're going to be doing some things here. So stay tuned. Okay. Give it about a few days. We're going to be rolling out some things on that to address that as well. And it's pretty exciting, I think. But for all your health and wellness needs, make sure you stop by sombertree.com. Sombertree.com. Yeah, look at them. Look at them. Yeah, they are, it's that time of the year, and don't, for those that come by and say, look at y'all with that watermelon. I tell you, black folks and watermelon. That's right. And I'm standing by the watermelon 110%, because once you know the history and once you know the benefits, the many benefits that watermelon brings to people with melanated skin that like our type, you'll understand and you'll appreciate why watermelon is very important to us. And so especially make sure you get that seeded watermelon, because even the seeds have things. Because I don't spit the seeds out. I do all of it. And I would do the rinds, but I don't know. One day I'll figure it out. Not eat it. Like you can make a jelly off of the rind, and I haven't got to that point yet. But some of y'all Holly Hobby people out there, you know how to do that. But anyway, all kinds of things ranging from those that are trying to naturally keep your sugar down to juices that have no added sugars or preservatives added to, a bunch of teas, things for your skin, your body, your things for your toofuses, your dental work and all of that. All 100% natural. That's what we're all about here. And take the time and go through it. We have a whole copper section as well. You could check that out. I told you teas. You can even buy things in bulk. So make sure you take the time. Bulk sea moss. We have bitters. Make sure you get on those bitters. We're going to be talking more about the Black Seed. We're going to be revisiting that again, and why, especially now, it's more than ever. It's very important for you to make sure you're taking your Black Seed and oil, and we'll be talking more about that in the very, very near future. So again, there you go, sambatree.com. Make sure you check that out. Okay, let's move it right along. Make sure also, let me go to our, this is a video that we did recently over on Odyssey. Let me just bring this up as well. I'll just bring this up here. The fallout continues. Are zombies next? The link is on our community page. Please make sure you stop by and watch it. And that is not that title. That title is not clickbait. That title is not clickbait. And I told you there are certain things that we are unable to talk about on this plantation, this digital plantation of YouTube, that we have to take over to there and discuss. And what we're discussing is basically what's been going on since the event that took place 5 years ago. And for those who know, and there's still a lot of fallout there. I know for us on this end, we definitely been touched by it. People, that we're connected to who are no longer here. And we have to start, as business owners, as family members and all of that, there are real things that we're going to have to start thinking about ahead of time, because as time rolls on, you're going to continue to start seeing some major changes, not just people no longer being here, but also things that are happening up here too, with a lot of people, things I've noticed, and I'm sure many of you have noticed as well. And and a lot of it is connected to that thing that took place of some years ago, and we get into that detail there and in that video. So the link is on the community page. Make sure you check that out. One last thing here. Let's see if I go to our YouTube page here. It was something I uploaded late last night. Free download, and we're going to continue to offer these free downloads, because we expect our people, the people following us, you don't just hear, if you want to watch the videos, great, really appreciate it. Hold on, let me go ahead, and I hit the record button on our audio. I almost forgot about that. Let me go to our channel here, because we also have the podcast too, so almost forgot about that. Let's see. It's on our post. And let me bring it up here for you to check it out right here. Okay, here it is. It's a short little booklet I put together. It's called The World is a Stage. The World is a Stage. U.S. politicians listed on IMDb from 1985 to 2005. It's about 10 pages worth of information that's showing you all the politicians going from the White House to the Supreme Court to the Senate to the Congress. All of these politicians since 1985 who are listed in the IMDb database. This is basically an entertainment database, and it came out to just under 400 politicians. that are listed in the IMDb database. So it's a free download. There's no strings attached or anything like that. So that's for you right there. And the link is there again under post here on our YouTube page. Okay. I know we got a lot going on here. Just because if I'm not making videos every day, it doesn't mean that the train is stopped. I mean, we're just shifting to other parts of the train, so there you go. So let's get into it. As far as this whole thing is concerned with the whole, the riots. I mean, I know by now many of you have been seeing what's going on, as far as these riots concerned. Let me just say something. It's a couple of things here. Number one, I mean, always remember that whatever the rules are in this matrix system that we're in, it almost seems as if one of the rules is that they always have to tell you before it goes down. I mean, if anything, that's one thing I think many of us have figured out, is that they always got to tell you what's about to go down. They'll put it in movies, they'll put it in shows, they'll put it in, even on social media, where they'll begin to start tweaking people to get you to start being automatically concerned about particular issues that you weren't even thinking about 5 minutes ago. Now all of a sudden you're ready to lay your life down for these issues. All of these things are things that is social engineering, basically, and these riots are no exception to that. The other day I was telling you, I did a post on our community page where I was telling you about this movie, The First Purge. Now, I saw The First Purge, the first Purge movie. I saw that one, and it was what I expected it to be. It's not really my thing. It's got to have, okay, what's really being said here? You know what I mean? And I didn't see the other ones. I just saw the first Purge movie, right? And, it was whatever. But then I started seeing clips of this one. I think this is, I don't know if the third installment, whatever, where basically they go back before the first one. And this one is called The First Purge, where it tells you the backstory of how the purge thing began, and for those of you who are like, the purge, what is that? Basically, long story short, it's a world where government said, the United States has said, okay, what we're going to do, because there's so much angst and so much crazy stuff going on in society, these people are losing it. And it seems like we're losing control over the people. What we need to do, they need a release valve. So what we need to do is we need to organize a 24-hour period. We're going to zone off an area. And for 24 hours, you as the people, you can go off and do whatever you want. There will be no arrest. You can just be crazy. You can just go crazy. Right? Or whatever. So if you want to kill somebody, you can do that. You want to do whatever it falls under the guise of crime, you can do that for 24 hours and nobody's going to do anything. So that's what the basis is of the purge, right? Now, this one, the first purge, it has, just as you can imagine, there's going to be some level of violence in the movie. So if you're a little squeamish with some violence, I mean, trust me, I've seen more violent movies than this. This is but if you can get past that, I would definitely recommend for many of you to watch this one. I almost highly recommend for you to, I typically don't recommend a lot of movies, but this one is one of those I would definitely recommend. This particular one, the reason why I recommend it is because it is literally bar to bar what we are experiencing today. Like literally. This movie came out in 2018. And I'll just go through it real quick here of some of the things I'm talking about. Number one, you had in the movie, it's I'll just say spoiler alert, I guess. There's some level of spoilage that's going to happen here, but all you got to know is it's the purge. I mean, it's people gonna get killed. That's really it. There's no like gotcha at the end or anything like that. So I'm not really spoiling anything. But anyway, number one, it starts off. It's a new political party has been proposed in the United States. You know, the Democrats have let us down. The Republicans have let us down. And so now the people of the United States said, you know what? We want a new political party. And that's how it began. So they have this new political party that comes in on the scene. And it's interesting because Elon Musk, for every now and then, he's been pitching a new party, starting a new political party. I've seen him do this several times. And I will tell you this, that the environment is definitely ripe for that. And I will also say that if Elon did pursue this direction, he would definitely not be alone in that. There would be many people that would go along with that. In fact, it would be something that the technocracy, these are the tech guys, they would fully back it. They would fully back something like this. And they would know exactly how to package it where you, as American citizens, you would buy into it very quickly. And so that wasn't far-fetched at all in a movie, right? Because I'm already seeing we're already leading up to that right now. You know, number two, a small part of New York City was zoned off for the 24-hour purge. This was the first one, right? And what we're seeing going on in LA right now, listen, I'm not in LA. I'm in Arizona, so I'm like a state away. But what I can tell you is all the footage I've seen. I've lived in LA. I've actually lived there for numbers of years. I could tell you that based on what I'm seeing, it is not all Los Angeles. Okay, it is definitely not all Los Angeles. What it appears is that it is taking place in a relatively small part of the city. And it's not all of Los Angeles. Los Angeles is huge, okay? It is huge. And it's not, trust me when I say it ain't going on in all of LA. It certainly ain't touching Orange County, Riverside County, it ain't spread out like that from what I'm gathering. This is, all the cameras are located in a small part of the city. All right. And that's what you're seeing. And as I pointed out on that post that I posted the other day, there's a reason why these protests take place in large media markets, because that's where all the cameras are. They're not going to go to Omaha, Nebraska. You know what I mean? They're not going to go to these small media markets. They're going to go to the large ones because that's where all the cameras are. And it's easy for them to wheel out all their personnel to just roll out of their offices and just, and have them on the street and doing on the street interviews and all that. It's a lot easier. It makes it a lot convenient for them. They're not going to be in middle America because middle America, the rest of America don't care about all of this. They don't. And they don't care enough to be out in the streets doing this kind of stuff. So it's what they're doing is they have stages set. They have an East Coast stage and they got a West Coast stage right now. I'm also hearing about things trying to pop off in Texas, and Atlanta, out of all places. I'm like, yeah, I wonder how far that's going to go. But so they got their stages set. You can go stage left or stage right, don't matter. And that's where they set up. And they want to and they're constantly flooding the zone, your social media, everything, trying to convince you that what you're seeing through that lens is what resonates with all of Americans. But you and I both know that most people, and we're not seeing any of that activity. Most people aren't. So it's not a true reflection of what most Americans actually feel like when it comes to this topic. And I would even go as further and say that most legal immigrants can't stand this stuff because it makes them look bad. And not all illegals are down with this either. Because if I'm in a country illegally, the last thing I want to do is be out on the street where 1,000,001 cameras all zoomed in on me. I mean, how stupid you got to be to do that? I'm in the country illegally and I'm all out in the street, mask or no mask, they tracking folk. You got your cell phone right there. They're tracking phone data. Okay, you think that, oh, that's all secret and nobody know. They're tracking all of that. And we're going to talk again about Palantir. We're going to talk about Palantir because, again, that's a lot of people ain't talking about that. They're tracking all of that. And these folks going to get out on the street with all of these cameras, with all of this personnel out here and think that nobody, I don't, but this is where I'm going back to the people's minds these days. They're not thinking. They're not thinking at all. Anyway, number 3, and this is, again, we're talking about this movie, The First Purge. Check this one out. An injection was given to every participant to track them. Yep, there was a part in there in the movie where everybody who wanted to participate, they were given an injection so that their systems could track them. Gee, that sounds familiar. And we talked about the event that took place some years ago. You think that all of that stuff is flushed out of your system? Let me help you. It's not. It's not. Okay. And again, I can't go any further than that on this plantation, but on our Odyssey platform, we get into it deep and we give you the science on it and what actual real doctors are saying about all of that. But in short, you are trackable. Okay. Anyway, number 4, technology is used to track every participant, specifically site profiles created on them as well. And that's what they did. They created site profiles on everybody that wanted to participate. They said, we're going to create a profile and know that, okay, this is where you stand. Okay, this is where we need to go and all that stuff. And then also what they did was other people were bussed in to ramp up the violence. Guess what's happening now? Other people are being bussed in to ramp up the violence. A lot of what you're seeing going on the streets right now, these aren't necessarily just illegals. These are some other people, and they ain't got really nothing to do with it. They just want to try stuff. And then, of course, number 6, the focus is on, they put the focus of the movie was on black and Latinos. So, like I said, they, with this matrix system that we're in, one of the rules is that they have to tell you exactly what they got planned and what's coming up. Now, let's continue with that because I have a video here of somebody who also saw that some years ago. I don't know this guy at all. Okay. I think I may have seen his name in passing. I think he's a podcaster. I don't know him. His name is Sam Tripoli. And back in 2023, he was on the Joe Rogan show. Now, this is 2023. And he was talking about on his podcast, he was interviewing a lady who has deep ties with the intelligence community. And the lady had something she wanted to share with him. Again, what you're about to hear, this was recorded in 2023. All right. So let me play that video for you. Okay. Let's take a listen to it. Let me bring it up here.
We're in the Bolshevik war right now, bro. And right now what's coming up is all the pride stuff is going to be, okay, so I had this woman come on my podcast. Her name's Mel K. She goes, I've been talking to some people in the intelligence, and they go, this gay pride stuff is going away.
Yep.
And the next thing you're going to see are immigration riots. This is going to be right around the next election. So hand to God, we do this episode. Next day, Starbucks is like, we're banning all the pride stuff. And now you start seeing these they're putting little breadcrumbs out, man. Little breadcrumbs. Oh, I saw this one thing in Chicago. Oh yeah, illegal immigrants are upset about where they're staying. And these illegal immigrants who speak no English are holding up perfectly written English signs saying we're tired of how we're being treated. And now you're starting to see this over and over again. Eric, so everyone's always like when all these Republican governors are like sending these immigrants all over the country, everyone's like, yeah, you're showing those Democrats. Bro, they're moving assets. I know it sounds crazy, but that is 100 what do
you mean they're moving assets? What do you mean?
Dude, these guys coming into the country, bro, have you seen them? A lot of them are Chinese, and a lot of them are military-age people. Too. And I'm telling you, they're moving, and this is what's going to be right around 2024 election. Immigration riots, people going nuts, and as listen to this, and you'll start seeing all the little breadcrumbs. I'm telling you, that's what they want you to think.
You're buying it.
Oh, I thought
they're
you're
moving assets, bro.
You're the puppet.
They're moving assets.
What do you mean, like military people?
Dude, study the Bolshevik War. It is happening in real time. 100%.
But
I just wanted to get that out to everybody because I'm trying to warn people. This is what's next.
There you go. Now we're in 2025, and guess what? That's exactly what we're seeing. When you look at these strategically, you remember in Ohio, I think it was about 10,000. I have a video I'm going to play in a little bit of a black man who's talking about this. In fact, maybe I should play that now. Let me see. Let me get that up here for you. Talking about that for those of you, because I know we live in a time right now where people do have short memories. Do you remember just recently, not too long ago, we were talking about all of these Haitians that they said we're going to move up to Ohio or something like that. This is, I want you to listen to this. This guy's about maybe 4 minutes long. Take a listen. He was talking about this when I'm sharing with you. Hold on. Here we go.
Morning, fam. My name is John, and I'm just an old man, and I have a few questions. I see things, I read a few things, I think about a lot of things. And my question this morning is, how did 20,000 Haitian immigrants, not sure if they're illegal or legal, how did they get to a small town in Ohio? Under whose authority did they get there? How were they transported there? What arrangements were made for their reception there? What decisions were made in terms of their housing? What kind of public policy discussion was undertaken regarding their environmental impact, their societal impact, their humane impact in terms of the resources that they would require and the strain that would put on a government of a small town in Ohio, or the municipal government of a small town in Ohio that is probably undergoing some strain as our economy is. I mean, I think Americans, especially the Americans in that city, fam, they deserve an explanation. At present, from the reports I've seen,
I'll just stop it there because he goes on and he's bringing up the point. You remember the whole thing about people were saying that the Haitians were up there eating cats and stuff like that. Remember all of that? This just happened. So here you got a government. I want you to think about this, okay? I want you to really think about this. During the Biden administration, they're moving tens of thousands of folks in these small towns all across the United States. They were doing it up in Maine. It was a bunch of, these Somalians? A lot of Somalians. They're moving up in Maine out of all places. So, what that guy was saying in the previous clip, he was talking about they're moving assets. I don't know if I would go that far and say that all of these people are military people. I don't think that's the case. But what I do see is that this is a stage is being set for destabilization. That is definitely what's happening here when they're moving all of these people in these different areas, in these different cities, especially these small towns, and just airdropping these people in these different areas. And and so this is what they're doing. You understand what I'm saying? And so you like he said the previous video, you remember everything was they were doing all these protests about LGBTQ. You remember all of that? And then all of a sudden they switched up like The Wiz. You remember in the movie The Wiz when he said, I thought about it. I think the color is going to be yellow. Well, I thought about it. I like green, and now the next color is immigration. Now all of a sudden everything's about illegal immigration. So now all of a sudden now everybody's about, we got to protect the immigrants and all of that. And it's funny just to see how people just their minds just switch on this. Let me just my few thoughts on this whole immigration thing. Number one, if you're going to analyze this, do not, and I repeat, do not analyze it from a perspective that all Mexicans are bad, because I don't believe that at all. Not at all. Number two, this is not just impacting Mexicans. Okay, you got immigrants from all over the rainbow that are being impacted by it. And for those that are out there saying, well, he just going after the brown ones. No, sir. No, sir. You need to look it up. He's going after Ukrainians. He's going after all these there's other groups as well that they've been going after that are in this country illegally. The only ones that the media is focusing on are the Mexicans. But I just saw something today. Jamaicans, they are sending illegal Jamaicans back wholesale. Okay, so they're going at Jamaicans, but they said they already did a huge swath on Ukrainians. They changed them up real quick and said, nah, you ain't bringing no more of them up in here. People from Afghanistan, they were doing the same thing. Nope. You gotta get up out of here. Chinese, they were starting to switch up on the Chinese too. So no, you got to look at the whole thing. Yeah, Miss K, I had to bring up The Wiz. I had to call out those that know. Okay, we in a separate class of folks. Okay, people remember that movie. But anyway, but yeah, they going after everybody right now. People, and the other thing too is if you hear people out here saying, okay, black people, you better be ready because they gonna come after you next. No, they're not. Yeah, I got proof that that's not the case. And if they do come after us, where they gonna send us? What country they gonna send us to? They're gonna send us to the nation of black. Yeah, they're gonna send us to the nation of black because they definitely ain't sending us to Africa. That ain't happening. They're Negroes that are already wanting to move over to Africa. And again, like I said, if that's your thing, you do your thing, okay? But there ain't too many black folks. I mean, on a larger scale, that are really trying to go over there. You know what I mean? And you gotta respect everyone's opinion on that. But no. So let's not get into the scare tactic thing where they gonna come after the black people next. Who they're coming after next? It ain't black folks. After all of this is done, the next turn is going to be on the American people. All right. And we're going to talk about that. All right. Because again, go back to the videos that we did where we talked about Palantir. Palantir. You need to look up Palantir. Palantir is a government contractor that is being used. Where is that video? It was an article that I was able to find that's talking about software. Here it is. Let me bring it up here. It's right here. It is right here, y'all. Not that one. Here we go. Palantir. ICE is paying Palantir $30 million to build immigration OS surveillance platform. And in a document published Thursday, ICE explained the functions that it expects Palantir to include: a prototype of a new program to give the agency near real-time data about people self-deporting. Now, this is focused on people self-deporting, but if you get into the article, they focus on everybody. They focusing on, well, specifically, they focus on immigration. This article was written back in April, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, April the 18th. This article was written back in April. And in the article, when you get into it, they actually mentioned that they were going to do some type of trial run or something to that effect before September of this year. They talk about that in this article. I'm trying to find it. Oh, no, here it is. Yeah, it's right here. The agency says in the document that these new capabilities will be under a wholly new platform called Immigration Lifecycle Operating System, or Immigration OS. Palantir is expected to provide a prototype of Immigration OS by September 25th, 2025. Well, apparently, ladies and gentlemen, they are ahead of schedule on that one, because they're actually doing it now. Do you remember that story that was floating around during this whole protest thing where they were showing it was this guy that was throwing rocks at the ICE trucks as they were going by? He had a motorcycle helmet on and all of that. And all of a sudden, now there are people throwing rocks all over the place on these, at these trucks and all that stuff. Why they focused on him? Why they focused on him? Out of all these people, why they focused on him? And it wasn't even 24 hours. Next thing you know, they ID'd this person. I have never seen them move that fast. When you look at the news media in of itself is basically a whole ad platform. That's all it is. When you see these news stories and things like that, these are ad platforms. They're ads. They're ads for whatever it is that they're promoting. And so in this case here, I strongly believe that was certainly an ad for Palantir to show off just how quick they can identify people. And so that's what you're seeing right now in LA, is a very controlled ad campaign to let you know that these are the new capabilities of our government on how quickly they're able to identify people. That's what they're doing. And all these people that that are down there that are doing all this stuff and all of that, like we said earlier, these aren't all illegal immigrants. These are other people that are coming in, paid actors and all that are doing all that. It's a stage. It's literally a stage, y'all. And like any stage, you got to have some control. They can't have all of LA burning because you can't control that. So what do? They say, okay, we're going to have this little part of the city that we're going to control, and we're going to say, don't go too far now. Don't throw the rock over there. Throw it over there. And then now we're seeing them. They're going after these small businesses. There was like a sushi restaurant. They tore that up. Now, what the heck did the sushi, what did they do? What did they do? They went after a sushi restaurant. There was a jewelry store they went after and all this stuff. And then they were going after, of course, they got to get the Nike store, of course, because, Nike is the one that's keeping these people, oppressing these people. They're oppressing them so bad, they got to go into the Nike store. They got to get them some sneakers. They got to get ice. They got to get their ice sneakers. So this software, this is what I want you to understand. They're focused. They're using these immigrants, as these illegal immigrants, as the trial run. And of course, they need people to cheer them on. So you got black folks, white folks, all these other people who are here, real Americans, are sitting here. We're cheering it on, like, yeah, that's right, go get them. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised. Some of y'all don't become the modern day slave catchers. Okay, don't do that. Okay, let me just take a question. Let me take a break right here. Okay, y'all, please, if they decide, they say, hey, listen, 1,000 a head, you get $1,000 in crypto for every 10 of Mexicans you find. If they do that, don't do that. Don't do that, okay? Y'all, please don't do that. That's wrong, okay? Don't do that, okay? Don't, just stay out of it, okay? Just stay out. Don't do that, okay? But I don't think I don't think it's gonna get to that. But who knows, But don't involve yourself in that, okay? But what I'm saying is this: President Trump, and I just showed you the article in the last video we did. He literally said that he wanted Palantir. He tasked them to build a database on all Americans. All Americans. So while you're cheering on Palantir for what they're doing in places like LA and all over the country right now, guess what? Their AI is learning all of this stuff. They're using them as workable data that they're saying, okay, this is how they're monitoring. They're looking at how humans think in times like that or whatever, and they're monitoring all of that. They're collecting all of that data. They're collecting cell phone data. They're collecting data on how you move and what you wear and all that stuff. They're collecting all of that data. And then pretty soon, at some point, what's going to happen? They're going to start shifting that over to regular Americans on things. They're going to say, okay, we took care of the immigrants. Now let's start going after Americans on certain things. You didn't pay your taxes. Okay, let's go after them. You didn't do this. Okay, let's go after them. They're going to start doing it. Okay, so government ultimately isn't our friend. So you can cheer them on now, but you watch, mark my word, it's going to flip back on you. Okay, that's what this government has always done. All right. But yeah, so number one, like I said again, no, this is not what you're seeing going on in these cities is not reflecting of all immigrants. It is not. I don't buy into that at all. But I do have some issues. You could be in a country for 20 years. Some of these people been in this country for 20 years, 30 years. And you telling me you didn't even start the paperwork? You didn't even start the paperwork. You literally didn't even start the paperwork on this. Now, let me show you this video, okay? Because there's a lot. First of all, there's a couple of things here. Number one, I think so far Trump has deported, I think the numbers is like a couple of million people that Trump deported so far since he's been in office. Well, let's take a look at how many people Obama deported. Let me find out real quick here for you, okay? Let me look that up for you. We're gonna look this up live, okay? Let me see. All right, I'm gonna play with Grok on this one. People did Obama deport? All right, let's see here. It's gonna come up here. All right, and then let me see how many people did Biden deport? I'm gonna have all of this up here. I'm doing it right now as I'm searching all this, and then we're gonna bring this up here. Okay. All right, and then we'll say how many people has Trump deported in his current administration. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay. All right, check this out, y'all. Okay, let me bring it up here. Check this out, okay? This is where you know it's all set up. Look at this. Okay, so again, I'm using Grok here in this case. I switch up from time to time. During Obama's presidency between 2009 and 2016, approximately 5.3 million non-citizens were deported, according to the Department of Homeland Security. This includes 3.2 million formal removals, court-ordered deportations, and 2.1 million returns, voluntary departures, or border turnbacks without formal orders. Now, I've actually heard that number to be much higher than that, but let's just go with this for the sake of argument. We'll just go with this, okay? Okay, how many people did Biden deport? Well, according to this, between 2021 and 2025, approximately 4.4 million were deported. All right, so Obama leading the pack on this, followed by Biden. And then in his current administration, Donald Trump has deported approximately 142,000 non-citizens. And this is as of April the 28th, 2025. So if you're going to, I see what you're saying on Teen Truth, but, still, even in 8 years, be it he did it in 4 years or 8 years, that's still a lot of people. And you would think that it would have raised pure hell on the amount of people that he deported, but it didn't. It didn't. They were cool with Obama. That's okay. Biden, he was in for 4 years, and he almost tied Obama just in 4 years. Did you hear any all hell break loose with Biden doing it? No. Now, all of a sudden, Trump said, okay, I'm going to do the same thing. According to this, 142,000. Now, all of a sudden, we can't stand him anymore. No, this is racism. He is tearing this country apart. He's tearing apart families and all. All of a sudden now we're caring about families now. All of a sudden now we're caring about what this looks like. All of a sudden this is America. Oh God, this is what America doesn't stand for this. Now all of a sudden it's all of that now. But before, nobody had no care or concern. Now, here's another thing too that I want you to and did you wonder, as I'm moving along here, have you wondered, isn't it interesting, and we've done videos on this too, we love, tracing our roots. I'm talking about black folks, as far as, the diaspora, the African diaspora or whatever. And I know some of y'all get triggered with that, but I don't care. Okay. But, I've gone through Mexico, Ecuador, Panama, all through Central and South America. And we've identified all of these people who have connections to the African transatlantic slave trade, right? I've shown you all these different pockets where these people reside. Isn't it interesting? I hear a lot about when you hear Mexicans, you typically think of the brown folks, right? But you do know that there's a significant number of Afro-Mexicans. There is quite a significant amount of Afro. That's just Mexicans. Okay. We ain't talking about people in these other countries like Panama and all that. But isn't it interesting? You don't really hear too much about them. Seems like they're kind of staying in their countries. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting. Isn't it also interesting that we don't really, when a few years ago when when Haitians were trying to come over, and you remember how that happened? You remember how that worked out for them when those Haitians were trying to come over across the border? You remember how that went down? Child, they didn't even by the time they got to the border, whoever was president then, they already had planes warmed up on the runway and said, no, get your back on those planes, get on the plane, and we're going to fly you back to Haiti because you are not coming here in America. You remember all of that? Yeah. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to be on one accord we got to fight with the man. Get out of here. Get all the way out of here. Anyway, take a look at this. Now, it's another thing that a lot of people don't know. They don't realize this because you hear all this stuff about how bad America is. And trust me, America's got a lot we can criticize, but America, like all other countries, they do have rules and laws and everything that you should abide by. When I visited Mexico City, for example, and I do plan on going back, I think it's a beautiful city. I had a lot of fun there. But when I went there, my mindset was immediately, I'm a visitor here. So whatever their rules are, whatever, I'm going to abide by them. That's it. I ain't coming down here to show out or anything like that. I'm just coming down here, just enjoy the city, and that's it. I had no problems when I was down there at all. None. But they have rules. So I'm not going to go down there and start acting the fool and being like, hey, y'all, acting crazy, throwing trash. I'm not doing that. There's rules, especially when it applies to immigration. Now, I want you to take a look at this video here. This is a woman who went down to Mexico. She overstayed her visa. And look how she was treated. Take a look.
This is what happens when you get caught in Mexico. How did they even find me in the first place? I was coming back from a concert in a bus stop at a toll booth. Some guy came in asking for ID. I showed him my California ID, but I didn't have my passport. Next thing I knew, I was in a van. I got to the immigration office. They patted me down, took away all my belongings. They looked me up and they saw that I overstayed my 180-day tourist visa. Long story short, they didn't let me leave the immigration office until I bought my ticket to go back to the USA. Which is crazy because I already have my dual citizenship in process, but it's not complete yet. That could be why it didn't show up in the system. The closest flight I could get had multiple stops. Before I went to LA, I stopped at Monterrey. I thought it was going to be a smooth process going back to the United States, but then this happened. I didn't get my little paper stamp that they give you when you enter the country, so I ended up missing my flight. And anyone that overstays their 180 days, you have to pay a fee of 717 pesos, which is $35. But since I'm being kicked out of the country, I didn't have to pay that Anyways, they got me another multiple stop flight. So it took me 2 more flights before I got back to the United States. Yes. And once I saw the Edgar cuts and the LA outfit, I landed back to the motherland.
So Mexico has laws too? Shocker.
Yeah, Mexico has laws. I remember when I was going, as soon as we got off the plane, the Mexicans, they didn't play. They had us go, as soon as we landed in Mexico City, they said, okay, come on over here. They had you stand in line. You had to fill out your paperwork. You had to do everything on the up and up. And, they look you over and everything. They said, what you here for and how long you plan on staying and where you going to stay and all of that. You answered all those questions and they're like, okay, welcome to Mexico. And we kept it moving. And that's it. But they have law. In fact, there's another thing too. Let me see if I can find this. Where did I put that? Did I bookmark that or did I not? Probably didn't. But I'll just trust me on this and you can look. I'll just say you look it up on your own. Okay. Mexico has a very high rejection rate when it comes to Haitians, a very significant high rejection rate of people who want to immigrate into Mexico. They say, you know what? I tried the U.S. I want to just make Mexico my home. They have a very high rate when it comes to Haitians, which I find to be quite interesting. But when it comes to the other brownies that are coming there, it seems like that's not an issue. But nobody wants to bring that. That's a topic that's too complex. We don't want to talk about that. We don't want to talk about how many years it took for Afro-Mexicans to be recognized in Mexico. We don't want to talk about that. But here in America, we're supposed to all be on one accord. We're supposed to be one accord. We are on the same team, but we don't want to talk about that either. Anyway, let's move on here. And let me go to, daggone it, where did I put it? Let's see here. Couple of videos here. Okay, here it is. Hopefully this is it here. Yeah, this is it. Yeah, we don't want to talk about things like this. Take a look at these videos here. Now, I will warn you, there is some language here, but let's go ahead. But it's what it is. So for those that are listening, these are just a few videos I was able to put together, to show you kind of what it is, what some of these folks, how they actually think about black folks. In fact, this first clip that you're going to see, this is a black woman that was just trying to get to work. But the people who were taking part in these protests, they didn't care. They basically told what cheek you want to kiss. And anyway, let's go to here. All right, check it out.
I don't care if I know that these people are having their children taken and their parents. What about my kids? I lose my job. Look at this. That's what happens to my kids. I can't help it. But you can if you could just move out the way. You're not going to. How is this a peaceful protest if there's nothing to do? No, it's not.
How do you all as white people feel not work. I care so much.
So you don't care about stopping black people from going to work? Look at this line that you guys are causing. I'm not causing no problems. I'm not trying to. We're just trying to leave.
You go to cover, nigga. I'm fake, nigga. I know you do, dog. I'll spit on your plate. I'll put my dick on your plate, nigga. Fuck your family. Fuck your kids, nigga. That's all it is. I can't sleep comfortably because of you.
He be fucking getting a whole fucking plate. He be fucking expecting us to give us a whole fucking shit. That nigga right there.
Do you go to Kava?
His fucking mom. Yeah, you do, nigga. Stop playing. Yeah, you do. Nigga, act like I don't know your fucking face. Stop fucking playing. Fucking talking about, can I get a fucking discount? Can I get a fucking this? Can I get a fucking that? That nigga right there. Point that shit at him right there. Point that shit at there right there.
He doesn't look like he go to Kava though.
Not after this. You're going to no shit. Hell nah. Hell nah.
He ain't going to that cover.
What's your favorite thing to order at Kava?
Everything.
You are so quick to say for me to stay out of black people's business, but like, you know, black people's business is all over the fucking internet. When was the last time you heard about Hispanic issues unless it was to push a narrative? Like, no one gives a fuck about Latinos. There's no Latino lives matter. All these fucking migrant children getting gang raped at the border and no one seems to fucking care because everyone's still talking about George Floyd. Asian hate crimes have been happening for a long ass time, done by black people and just overall in general, yet they wait until a white person finally does something for it to actually be relevant. I find it so funny that some of these black people want to say they're fucking oppressed, that you have the power to suppress other people's issues and still talk about things even though they happened like 5 years ago. There is black mothers, fathers, and children that reach out for help, that get killed in the hood. And then y'all don't care about those kids? What about those black lives? What about the black and migrant children that are being trafficked right now and y'all ain't saying a damn thing? Fuck out of here with that.
They got a lot of energy, don't they? They got a lot of energy. She want to have a conversation on that. You really want to have a conversation on those people who are trying to cross the border and the different things that's happening there. You want to have that conversation. I would love the opportunity to have that conversation. You want to know, they call them coyotes, right? Those coyotes. I ain't talking about the animals. You want to know who's taking little children and separating them from their families? That's Mexicans that do that. How about the cartels? You want to have a conversation about the cartels on what they're doing? Anytime that the Mexican folks want to try to move ahead and try to elect go the Democratic way and elect somebody that will represent them, that's going to fight against crime, and it's the cartels. They're all Mexican. My God. Yeah. And then when they're trying to cross the border, these are poor families that don't have anything. Cartels, they usually want, the coyotes, they usually want about several thousand people. You imagine you asking somebody dirt poor to raise up thousands of dollars so that you can get them across the border? Yeah, that's y'all. You do that. You know, you do that. That ain't black folks doing that. That's y'all. You doing that. You want to know why all these people are coming to America? And then when they get captured, they're like, oh no, I want to go back. Don't send me back there like they're being sent back to hell or something. You want to know why? It's because of stuff like that. Yeah. And then it's the history. We want to get into history. Oh my God, we don't know about the history. You know that Mexico, we actually owned all of this land before. Oh yeah, but you know who owned it before you? Spain. Spain owned all that section that you say that was Mexico's at one point. Spain actually owned it longer than you. Spain, I think it was like 52 years, 55 years. You can look all of this up. I did my research, and I invite you and encourage you to do the same thing. Spain owned all of this swath of the land, including this where I'm in Arizona. They owned all of this. And then Spain, then in turn, they handed it over or sold it, however they did it, transferred it to Mexico. Mexico owned it for like 27 years and couldn't wait to sell it to the United States. They couldn't wait to sell it off. After the whole war situation and all that, they said, okay, we're going to come to a deal, senor, and we're going to, we're going to Okay, how much you want? All right. And the United States was like, all right, we want, okay, here you go. So you got to know your history too before you start going there. There's a whole lot here. This is what I'm trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? So no, you missed us with all of that. So no, that's y'all. And someone, I thought you was going to bring up, yeah, there you go. He did bring it up. So it said all those Latin gangs were firebombing black neighborhoods in LA. Exactly. That's what I was going to bring up too. Look it up again. Look that up as well. In LA, this is some years ago, you had gangs that were terrorizing black neighborhoods, Latin gangs, that were going through these neighborhoods where you have majority black folks, and they were terrorizing these folks. And in some cases, yes, they were firebombing their homes. This is in LA, but we don't want to bring that up, do we? Nobody wants to talk about that. Yeah. Anyway. But again, what we're doing right now, I'm just throwing out some different things here, but trust me, we're bringing it back because I have to bring it back to this whole Palantir thing. And I want people to understand, listen, don't buy into this whole, all Mexicans are bad, or all this group is bad. Don't buy into that. But there are some people out here running their mouth and they need to get some act right first. Okay. They need to get a couple of servants or some act right so they can get that situated so that we can get focused on what we need to be handling, our business we need to be handling, and the things we need to be focused on, which, like I said, again, it's a lot greater than this, quite honestly. But right now, we just kind of like just getting all the stuff out of the way first. Now, another thing that I want to bring to your attention too isn't it interesting to see the people who have been leading the charge when it comes to this immigration thing, all right, illegal immigration. I put together several videos. Oh, let me show this too. I forgot to mention this. Do you remember this? This beautiful mural that someone put together, Kobe Bryant and his daughter. Yeah, this is what the protesters did. The ones that said that they want a black-brown coalition, they want us to come together. This is what they did. Now, that alone pissed me off. I was like, nah, it's more than over right now. Nah, nope, not at all. Not at all. You lost all arguments on this one. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, dang, man, these people are nuts. But anyway, but again, I don't blame all illegal immigrants on that because, again, all we know, it could have been some of these other outside agitators that are doing it. We don't know, but I don't hear nobody condemning it on that side either. So, I mean, truth is truth. Yeah, Teen Truth said that was like the third time they vandalized. Yeah, I remember they vandalized it before. It's always like they got to go after that. Why? I mean, the man's gone. Yeah, so get back to what I was saying. There is another group here of individuals that have been making it very clear that they are standing for the rights of illegals in this country. And let's see who that group is, shall we? Let's take a look.
A week ago, everything was peaceful in the city of Los Angeles and in all of the representatives behind me in their cities as well. Things began to be difficult on Friday when raids took place, and it's important that I begin there.
Hold on, let me see. Can y'all hear me? Let me see. Yeah, okay. First of all, I had to cut in on this one here. This woman, first of all, she's not running that city. I mean, in case you didn't figure this out, she is not. There's no way in the world Karen Bass is running this city. There is no way. There is no way. No way. Do you guys understand that just a couple of months ago, we had part of the city burnt in flames because of the fires that could have been prevented, but she pretty much didn't handle it? What about all those black folks that lived up in the hills there that lost that whole swath of that town? Gone. Gone. We ain't hear, ain't it interesting? We ain't hear nothing about that. Nothing. After all of it, before, it was like, okay, we first hear about all these songs, and we've done a couple of videos on this. We gave you the history of the town, all of that, and talked about how, black folks, why they were there and all this other stuff. All their homes gone. Just about all their homes gone. And we don't hear nothing about them now. Nothing. NAACP, nothing. Congressional Black Caucus, nothing. We don't hear anything about these folks. You imagine you own a home in the LA area, and for those that have lived in the area, bro, those homes are expensive. Some of these homes have been in these families for generations, and now your home is gone. What do you do? Well, you're going to say, oh, we'll just buy another home. Oh, no, you talking California. It ain't that easy. I was just, out of curiosity, I was just looking at rents. The average rent, just like in Orange County, man, it was like just somewhat of a piece of a home. It's like five stacks, 5,000. That's just a basic rent. I was like, what? Yeah, it's expensive, but you ain't hear nothing. And you know what Karen Bass did? I'm sorry, I'm gonna get back to the video in a moment. She went with a contractor for those homes that got burned down, who got a whole list of lawsuits because he basically shortchanged another state that he was supposed to be doing a rebuilding project with, and she went with him. This woman here, I'm telling you right now, she ain't running this state. She ain't running that city. She is not running this city at all. She is not. All right. And she up here talking about, everything was fine until he sent those troops in, and literally all these people getting up here talking about everything was fine until Trump sent them. And they're saying that, and literally in the background, the whole city in flames. But everything's fine. Everything's calm. I was just in LA. It was just another day in LA. It's just another day. A few cars on fire, stores being broken into. It was just another day. A whole line of Waymo cars on fire. It's run of the mill. I mean, Starbucks was still open. I was able to go there and get my coffee, and everything was fine. But it's just another day. And they out here telling you. Anyway, let me go back. Let me get out of here and continue on there. Hold on.
Because that is the cause of the problems that have happened in the city of Los Angeles and other cities. This was provoked by the White House. The reason why, we don't know.
They are absolutely terrified. And look, I remember a few stand-ups ago when I talked about what terrorism looks like. This is it. There should be no question to what our country would look like had the Confederacy won. We're seeing it on full display. And
anyway, he talking about this is what the country would look like if the South had won. And it's interesting, though, that if the Confederacy, a lot of them were Democrats. But again, that's history we don't want to talk about either. Anyway, but yeah, this same city, this same mayor, got black folks, black Americans that are out here been saying with their full chest over and over again, listen, stop busing these folks into our communities because they're taking up all of our resources and everything. There's a whole movement of black Americans in Chicago. And this guy just looks over them like they don't even exist. And he's doing everything he can. I'm telling you, these people do not run these cities at all. All y'all Negroes that fell for the whole, he's the first black mayor, the first black mayor. Not that he is, but I'm saying all of those that fall for that kind of stuff, we need representation. We need people that look like us. You getting your wake up call now, aren't you? Anyway, here's another loud one. She crashed out and they indicted her black behind today. They indicted her. She crashed out. This is the congresswoman that basically went out and was trying to push up on ICE agents and all that stuff. Man, they said, we're going to indict you. She looking at prison time. These same Negroes will crash out for these folks, but they won't. But you got black people who are in prison who shouldn't even be there. These same people, they don't have the time of the day for it. Anyway, let's go on. I know I keep cutting in, but go ahead.
Will not take this. We will fight back. Fight back. Fight back. And as I close out, because I know we've been out here for a long time, and goddamn it, shut down the city. We are at war. Anytime a person can pay $250 million into a campaign and they be given full access to the Department of Treasury of the United States of America, we are at war.
Kamala Harris, who had something to say to immigrants.
My message to them is that you are not alone and we stand with you, and there are those of us who will fight for you and your rights every day.
Congress comes to them, then come to Congress. You're a big enough voting bloc and a large enough, harness your power that it should matter. They should feel welcome.
We're incredibly powerful as black people.
If we weren't, they wouldn't be trying to take our votes.
Incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
Once we start to harness that and leverage that, then we can help this country become what it's meant to become, and we're not there yet, obviously.
And some people think the Congressional Black Caucus is the caucus that settles everything for black people, but a lot of members represent districts that are majority.
Wait a minute, what? I have to play that one more time. Let me just, what did Tiffany just say? Really listen to what you just said? Silly black folks. What were you thinking this?
Yeah, obvious.
And some people think the Congressional Black Caucus is the caucus that settles everything for black people, but a lot of members.
Don't miss the point, you all. Don't think that somehow, because they called out the National Guard, there was violence. There was no violence. I was on the street. I know. He started this. There should be no violence. He should not continue to support violence. They should not be edged on and, provoked in any way. And that's what the President of the United States is doing, to exert his power and to show that he's in charge and to show that he's going to get the numbers that he promised to get people deported. And
if she and that wig don't sit down, they need to sit down now. Anyway. Yeah, they are leading the way. They're the leading voices. These are people that are put in place to quote unquote represent you, and they are the leading voices out here that are pushing helping to push along this entire agenda. There is something I did. I'm looking for it right now because again, we on this platform we really try hard to keep people informed. So that exactly what you're talking about here. Let's see. This is, I'm scrolling down on our community page right now. I'm trying to find it. But I did a whole document on the Congressional Black Caucus and showing you a comparison between their stance on reparations and illegal immigration. I'm trying to find it now. Let me see if I can find this here. Hold on, I'm scrolling through right now. But yeah, and particularly what I've noticed, I don't know if you noticed that a lot of these people who are going to bat, crashing out for illegal immigrants are, in fact, a lot of them are black women who are crashing out for these people. And not even wanting to acknowledge the impact it is when these people are being, you remember with that video that I played earlier where the guy said that they're moving assets into these different pockets all over the country. And they're in some of those a lot of those pockets are actually places where black Americans live. And they're flooding the zones and they're saying, listen, we're just going to put them there and that's it. And let them handle it. Let them deal with it. And black folks have been making the case over and over again. I cannot even find this thing. Over and over again, black folks have been making the case that hey, listen, this is having an adverse effect on our communities, and y'all need to do something about it. And the answer and their response has pretty much been, just go sit down and shut up, and we're going to handle it. And that we're one, and you don't have to, is this it here? See, is this it here? I think this is it here. Hold on. You got to keep scrolling. Yeah, all on our community page. You definitely want to check it out, because I've been putting up like free documents that you can download and stuff. I've been using, I don't know about y'all, I've been using ChatGPT. Now we got the tools, we can pull all this stuff up. I think this is it here. It's called Don't Go to the Picnic. And this looks at, I believe, at all the, okay, kitty, hold on. Go on. Anyway, that looks at all the members of the Congressional Black Caucus and what they stand for and all of that. And in short, I'll just answer it for you. When it comes to illegal immigration, that is a top priority for them. And you just heard Tiffany Cross. Yeah, I think that was it, y'all. Tiffany Cross, you just heard her say, people think, that the Congressional Black Caucus, I mean, we're there to, they're there to help black folks. I mean, you really think that? I mean, come on, they telling you in your face. They're telling you in your face what they are really about. Let's see. In related news, let's see a couple of things here. Let me see. I'm just trying to find something else here. I played this. Let's see. Because I don't want to get too far off. But yeah, Palantir. I'll bring it back to that. Palantir, this is the system, along with their other systems as well, that they are using. All this whole protest thing is just a tester for what they are unleashing right now to the rest of Americans. It's not about, they don't care about the immigrants. They really don't. I mean, it's not about the immigrants. It ain't about the black folks. It ain't about that at all. They are looking to replace you. Okay. This is a video. This is Larry Fink. Some of y'all have seen it before, but I need you to pay attention to it again. Okay. And Larry Fink, he is over BlackRock. Okay. And I want you to listen to what he is saying, because I actually made a short of this earlier today, if you didn't see it. In fact, let's see. Should I play that? You know what? I think it'll be more effective if I play the short I did. Yeah, I'll do that. Take a listen to what Larry Fink is saying when it comes to depopulation and the benefits it's going to bring. All right, so take a listen.
I could argue in the developed countries, the big winners are countries that have shrinking populations. Okay, that's something that most people never talked about. We always used to think shrinking population is a cause for negative growth. But in my conversations with the leadership of these large developed countries that have xenophobic immigration policies, they don't allow anybody to come in, shrinking demographics, these countries will rapidly develop robotics and AI and technology. And if the promise, I didn't say it's going to happen, but if the promise of all that transforms productivity, which most of us think it will, we'll be able to elevate the standard of living of countries and the standard of living of individuals, even with shrinking populations. And so the paradigm of negative population growth is going to be changing. And the social problems that one will have in substituting humans for machines is going to be far easier in those countries that have declining populations. And so for those countries that have rising populations, the answer will be education, and so rapidly developing. For those countries that do not have a foundation of rule of law or education, they're going to be left. That's where the divide's going to get more and more extreme. And unfortunately,
there you go. So yeah, what he's saying is basically depopulation is going to be more of a benefit, to what they have in store right now. There is a video. I remember I told y'all months ago, and I'm gonna tell you how this is all connected here. Okay, you remember months ago I was telling you guys. I said that what's coming up next. I said I did a whole post on if you want to make some quick money or whatever. I said I'm not a licensed trader or anything like that. I said, but I do look at trends, and I said that the companies that are going to rocket up right now are going to be Nvidia and Tesla, and I was saying this when people were going around, all these old farts were going around and slashing tires of Tesla cars and all that. I said, don't be distracted by that. I said, because Tesla is about to skyrocket because Elon Musk has said over and over again, and I'm no fanboy of Elon Musk. Okay. So miss me with all of that. But what I do look at is technology. I spent a lot of time, most of my time, actually looking at the trends and stuff like that when it comes to technology. He said out of his mouth that if people out here believe that Tesla is a car company, he said it's not a car company. He said it's a robotic company. And as we move on, he said, you're going to start seeing that. We're going to start. He was already talking about the things that they're launching. There are two products they were going to launch. Number one, it was going to be these things called robo-taxis. All right, robo-taxis. Basically, these are driverless taxis that people will be able to drive. Be able to hitch and, you'll be able to get, take wherever you want to take throughout. Many of you guys are familiar with Waymos, right? These are driverless cars that will basically are taxis, and they'll take you all over the place, right? And so you have that Waymos. But Tesla cars are different because their Waymos are restricted. I believe the reason why they're restricted in cities is because of the fact that cities are built on a grid system. And so it's a lot easier for them to control. But with Tesla cars, the software that's in every Tesla car, be it the car or the truck, it is constantly collecting data externally and internally. If you're a driver, it's collecting that data as well. You need to understand that. It's not just collecting data externally, it's also collecting data internally. All right. And so what it's doing is it's putting it all in their system, and they were feeding that to these robo taxis. Right. And so when they start rolling these taxis out, they're not going to be restricted to the cities. They'll be able to start in the suburbs because they don't need to have to be a tight environment that they make it easy for them to control. They'll be able to do this everywhere because Tesla drivers have been collecting the data for them. And I said, Elon Musk said, okay, this is going to roll out around June. Well, we're in June right now. And guess what happened? It's right here. They are rolling these out. This is what you're looking at right now. And so I read a piece that someone wrote that was really interesting. And what they said is the way Tesla is posturing this right now is that as these things roll out, they're going to make them super affordable. I'm not talking the car itself. I'm talking about the service. I want you to pay attention to what I'm going to tell you. They said they're going to make the service super affordable, where they're going to make it affordable to where people who are low income or people who cannot afford a car, it'll make it a lot easier for them to opt to rent a Tesla to take them wherever they need to go. So now, just like BlackRock has postured the real estate industry and the housing industry and said, listen, you basically, you don't need, now everybody's shifting towards rental because nobody can really afford to buy a home. Now the next step is people will be renting cars now. You remember what Klaus Schwab, what he said? You will own nothing and love it, basically. So this is where we are right now. So as these things are rolling out, he just rolled these out in Texas. As I told you months ago, this was going to happen. And also I told you their stock is going up. Their stock is going up, and they're predicting right now it's like at 312. The last I checked, they're predicting by the end of the year it's going to be up at 500. And so if you're an Uber driver or whatever, goodbye. Go do this because you ain't gonna have a job in a moment. Other thing, remember I was talking with my wife about this. This whole thing. This does not reflect all black women. Okay, it does not reflect all black women, but there are a lot that do take pride in all of these degrees that they have, right? But here's the thing that you need to pay attention to. What are those degrees in? If you do a search, you'll find that a lot of these degrees that black women are getting, they may have the most education in comparison to men. Because see, that's another lie we dispel, because they were out here saying they're the most educated in America. That is not true. The most educated are the Asians. It's not them. It's not them. The numbers speak for themselves. When you do a comparative, that figure that they threw out, when you read the details, that's what a lot of people don't do. When you read the details, it actually is saying that this was said in comparison to black men. When you compare to black men, yes, black women are more educated. But then you got to start digging in more into the details. What are they educated in? It's a lot of times they're getting degrees in social degrees, some of these other degrees that are great fields, but they do not move society forward. Okay? They're just maintaining things. You understand what I'm saying? Again, that's not crapping on their degrees. It's just when you look at the fields that they're getting their degrees in, I mean, it doesn't move anything forward. What moves society forward? What moves society forward is areas like sciences, technology, engineering, all of those things. These are things that move societies forward. And so, but guess who is getting fired? Last month, I think it was like over 100,000 black women lost their jobs. It's so much so that it's a trend on TikTok right now. Losing their jobs. And what have we been doing? We've been telling people on this platform all along, you better get into AI. You better start training for it. You think you know it. We actually have a short course, 2.5 hours, where we cover the basics. Go to sambatree.com, go on to Samba University, and we talk all about it there. We start you from the bottom and we take you on the way up. I'm probably going to do a part 2 at some point on that. And, but yeah, so a lot of these women, when you look at the sector that a lot of them go into, it's government or government associated businesses. That's who they work for. But guess who right now is clearing the deck right now of a lot of these employees? Government. Because government, it may be a great position. You may be getting good money. It may be some good job security. At least that's what it used to be. But the one thing about government jobs is that it doesn't encourage you to build up your own resume so that you can become more valuable to the general workplace, to work field. You understand what I'm saying? And so a lot of people, they get their jobs. Look at all the degrees I got. I work for the government or whatever. Okay, fine. But do you know can you talk about AI? Can you talk about how to use it to run a whole department? Can you talk about how to create different bots? Can you go break all that down? Well, no, I don't need to know that. I got my 3 degrees. Okay, but do you know this though? This is what I'm talking about. Do you know this stuff? No, I don't need to know it. Okay, well, you're going to find out the hard way. And guess what's happening? So this is what I'm talking about here. You're going to have to, with all of this stuff that's going on, these protests and stuff, you better keep your focus. All right. You better keep your focus on the things that you need to be focused on right now. That's going to create sustainability for you and your family, and staying focused on that. Getting all tied up with this and no, it's the brown people, it's this people. Nope. They after everybody, and their intention is to create a society where people, black, white, whatever, it doesn't matter, that we're not doing anything. We're not building anything. We're not thinking anything. We're just sitting back and then we're just letting robots do everything. That is the society that these people are doing now. I encourage you to read Sam Altman. He's the guy over OpenAI. He just put out a whole blog post where he's kind of outlining some of these things. Okay. This is where we're going right now. They are looking to replace people, period. Okay? So don't get caught up in all this stuff, all this extra stuff. What they're doing right now with these protests, this is this trial run so that they can run a country more efficiently. But efficiency for them is less people. And so you saw in that clip that I showed you, that short I did, you got people out here dancing and talking about, yeah, abortion. You know, okay, you dancing to the beat of the New World Order, because this is exactly what they want. They want less people. All right. So, yeah, so this is the key right now. You need to start focusing on those things, okay? But also be aware of what they're doing with all of this stuff. Every bit of technology that you're using, your cell phone, whatever, they're tracking you, period. There's cameras that everywhere you go, all they got to do is type in your tag number, and any given day they can see, okay, Dwayne, he traveled all these places from Monday to Sunday. All right. And this is the technological world that we're in. That's the dark side of it. Go back and watch those videos that we did. It did 2 videos on this topic. They are collecting raw data on people right now. Palantir, this is what they are all about. Collecting raw data on human behavior. All right. And in the title, I said that, you know, they are collecting data on, I forgot what I titled it, but they were looking at black behavior. Where did they get that data from? Where did they get it from? They get it from what you upload. All the stuff that people upload. So if they want to program this AI, these AI systems, if Palantir can come up with a database called Immigration OS, what's stopping them from coming up with one called Black Folks OS or whatever? Or having a segment of their software that's focusing on that. I'm telling you, that's what they are doing now. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm telling you what they're doing right now. I'm telling you what they have said themselves, what they're doing. They are collecting raw data from places like social media. And I gave you, I did a sampler of the type of data that some, not all, but some black folks, but a significant number, have been uploading on social media. What are some of those things that are black folks? Us fighting each other. We committing crimes and we got our camera. Hey, y'all, I'm getting ready to rob this store. Watch me as I beat up this store owner. All of that foolishness. Again, I'm not saying you're doing it, but what I am saying is all of that are human behaviors that it collects. And so what it does is it says, okay, let's build a profile of what black folks are. And so you out here flexing guns and twerking and doing all this stuff, it's all going to the profile. Again, get out of your emotions. I'm not saying you are doing it. I'm saying that there's a significant number of black folks out here who are doing it. And they're making it, and they're gradually are making it, going to make it more difficult for the rest of us who don't participate in that. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is real. We're living in a technological society right now where it's all about the collection of data. So when you look at these different stories, be it a protest or whatever, it's all about data collection. That's what all of this is about. The emotion part is to get you to buy in so you can get more animated by it, because they really are like, okay, let's get them to go and spray paint the Kobe Bryant thing. That'll get them mad. Okay, let's get a few of them to say the N-word. That'll get them mad. And they're doing all this stuff. I told you, go and look at that movie. What was the movie I told you? Go look at The First Purge. It's all in there. They're telling you exactly how they roll. Okay? So you can either learn the easy way or you can learn the hard way. I prefer to learn when I see it, I'm like, okay, this is what y'all gonna do. This is what y'all about. Okay, well, now I know. Okay, so anyway, I hope you got something out of this broadcast, Sean. Thank you so much for tuning in. Share. I would encourage you to share it. And yeah, we're gonna be right on this stuff here. Okay, we're also gonna be making more use of our Odyssey platform too. We're gonna be getting back into get into this COVID stuff. All right, again, this stuff that we can't talk about on this plantation here. We can't talk about on the digital plantation, but we gonna get into it. I mean, when I tell you we're gonna get into it, we're gonna get into it, y'all. All All right, so stay tuned for that. Also, make sure you visit our store, sambatree.com. If anything I can tell you, make sure you get your black seed oil. Get your black seed oil, y'all. If anything else, make sure you get on that, okay? And there's many reasons why you need to get on that, especially right now, okay? All right, thanks again for tuning in. You guys take care, and I'll talk to you again soon.